If you just tuned in, you're joining me on day 3 of the otherworldly, crazy landscapes of the 350-kilometer Ha Giang Loop motorcycle ride in Vietnam. On day 1, my friend Camilla and I rode from Ha Giang to Quang Ba, stopping at some crazy sights along the way, including a giant cave. Yesterday, we made it all the way to Meo Vac via a cultural village full of Vietnamese ethnic group peoples, and Leng, the most northern point of Vietnam, where we could even see China. Today, we were excited to take a leisurely ride back to Ha Giang to finish off the trip, but unfortunately, the weather had other plans. Stick around for the second half of the video where I'll explain my entire process and experience of the Ha Giang Loop, how to get here, rent a bike, and I'ma share how much the entire trip cost me. Okay, good morning to a very cold and slightly damp Ha Giang Loop. It rained last night and it's so cold. We're basically in the clouds. This is gonna be not fun ride till hopefully the sun comes out. But now we're at the Ma Leng Pass. There's a river down here and there's this Ma Leng Panorama, which I'm gonna go in here and see if they have any warm clothes to provide me, because we have a lot of driving to do today. Oh my good sir, you do not have to worry about me doing that. That would hurt. So usually, I think it's too early at the moment, but those boats down there, you can pay to go on those and they will take you all the way down this blue river. And it's 120k per person, but it looks like the boats just don't run this early and we don't have enough time to stick around and wait for them to open. So unfortunately, we will not be able to do that next time. But after enjoying this view, I'm gonna ask the guy if he has gloves. Too much finger. It's okay. Welcome back to Ryan's POV shot of the Ha Giang Loop, the most immersive experience you guys will ever have on YouTube. And it's cold, so it's not that immersive because I'm sure you're probably tucked up and warm somewhere. It's not raining, but it's like misting at that annoying level where everything's just gonna get a little bit soggy, which is not good. And now this is the third and final day of our Ha Giang Loop experience. Today you're gonna join us as we ride 150 kilometers back to Ha Giang, and I'm hoping the weather clears up a bit because my hands will turn into icicles. This is that really weird resort that we stayed at last night, completely made of wood. Beautiful, but I have to say the people didn't seem very welcoming. Honestly, wouldn't recommend it. Quite expensive as well. If you go 5 kilometers more, which we didn't want to do last night because it got dark, it was starting to get dangerous. 6 kilometers more and you'll be in the actual town of Meo Vac, where you could probably find somewhere a lot more welcoming and a lot more friendly to stay. Good morning. One Pho Bo. So we made it to Meo Vac. My hands are so cold, but we successfully withdrawn cash and found a place to get pho. I'm not even that hungry. I just want to hold it and probably drink the broth. But yeah, I think there's a place here to find some like gloves and some extra layers and stuff like that, because this is going to be a very difficult ride back to Ha Giang. But yeah, the rain is still misting, still annoying, but not heavy. Right, time to eat. My saviour. Oh. Honestly, I just want to sit here and hold it like this. Oh my god, it actually hurts. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, but it's time to eat. I have to say, a very mediocre pho compared to what I've had before. But now it's time to go see if I can find some layers. This is a good start. So we're coming into this market here. Need to find some water. First stall, gloves. Only 55k, that's like $2. To save my hands for the next 5 hours, it's 100% worth it. But I also want to find one more layer as well to go over my jumper. It's like a windbreak layer or something like that. And I think I'll be good to go. Thank you. You could get anything in this place. Look, silverware pots, plastic pots, giant golden pig. There's loads of stuff in here. But I don't need kitchenware. Oh wow, this place is huge. Check this out. It just keeps on going. But this is what I'm looking for. Okay, she's recommended this one. It feels warm, it's fluffy on the inside. Come on. Okay, so I picked up a big coat. It was 300,000, which is like 12 bucks. A bit more than I was hoping to spend, but if it keeps me warm over the next day, that's the main thing. Glove and a coat around 15 bucks. I'll take it. Do I look sexy? So we were just starting our journey around the loop to obviously head back to Ha Giang, and this is not a main road on the map. If you have a look at the map, it's not a yellow track, it's a white track, and it's not looking too good. It's looking very muddy, and something that these bikes are probably not very good to handle. It might get better, we don't know, but we're not going to risk it. Instead, we're just going to go back the way we came, which is what a lot of people do, and it's what the lady told us to do in the shop as well. You excited? I'm excited, and I'm warm. It's gonna be good, I think. Still more to see, so don't you worry. You will still get to see amazing things today. So we just pulled over in Dong Van, which is really not that far at all from where we stayed last night, but it's so cold, so I had to pull over and take a break. These are by far the best investment I have made on the trip. The jacket is a little bit more dubious. It's working, but it's not working that great. It's still cold, but my legs are still cold, my feet are cold, my face is freezing. Because it's so cold, my GoPro batteries are dying so fast. I've spent 2 already, and we've only been on the road for like less than an hour. It's crazy. So they brought our coffee over. I don't drink coffee, so I'm gonna give it to Camilla. Middle of the road. Ha Giang, 159 kilometers away. It said less on Google Maps, like 143 on Google Maps. That's quite a significant amount more. That's like an extra 30-45 minutes. Hopefully not. This guy just enjoying the view. That's the life right there. This is awesome. We did this last night, but it was pretty dark. It's the views. It's, again, back to Avatar, back to the Atlas Mountains. Makes you wonder what all this roadworks is for. It looks like they're building a road up the side of the mountain, but I'm not sure why. Hello! Look how big those mountains are. So I just pulled over. I see this bike here in front of me, thinking, I wonder where that person is. Right there. Sitting on the edge of the rock, just enjoying life with this view. Damn. These little concrete blocks are not going to stop people from going over the edge. If anything, they'll not concentrate, they'll run into it, they'll either go through one of the gaps or like this big gap here. Definitely be careful if you're doing this, guys. It's not as health and safety as it would be back in the UK or the US, I'm assuming, or Australia. Clouds are so low as well, giving that very mystical feel. Beautiful. Back on the road, back on the Ha Giang Loop, back with some amazing views and sights, but the rain's got harder, which is not great. We stopped for around 20 minutes in the end. We figured out on the maps that we have 4 hours of driving left and 6 hours of sunlight. So I don't think we're going to do too much sightseeing today, or stopping for that matter. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of stuff on the Ha Giang Loop which we can still see, but we just do not have the time. It just means I'm going to have to come back again, and I'm more than happy. But at the end of the video, I'm going to do a breakdown of how much 3 days on the Ha Giang Loop cost me in total, and then I'm going to give my overall thoughts and what I think I could do better next time to make it a more rounded experience. So that is exactly what we did, and at this point I actually needed to disconnect my microphone just to save it from water damage from the rain. But then we spent the next however many hours it was eating up the miles in the cold and wet weather, but only partly miserable because the views back along the Ha Giang Loop were totally worth it. And to be honest, if you watched my last 2 videos, you would have already seen these roads that we're currently taking, but in much better weather conditions with much better views. At one point we got stuck behind, I think it was 3 or 4 local builders, the Vietnamese builders, and they were driving in such a beautiful formation, but they were so slow, and on these tight roads it was like so unsafe to overtake them. And also because of the rain, the roads were now covered in debris from the trees, and this debris was not there 2 days before when we drove back up in the dry weather. So if you're coming and the weather's not going to be too great, this is definitely worth noting just for safety reasons. Anyway, I want to provide you with all the information that I think you need to know if you're planning to tackle the Ha Giang Loop in the near future. But before I do, if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. On this channel I release travel vlogs and guides made by a traveler for travelers, and you don't want to be missing out. So we decided to ride the Ha Giang Loop completely independently, and honestly I think going without a tour is definitely the way forward. If you go alone, you're able to move at your own speed, you can stop wherever you want for however long you want, and you don't have to worry about moving with the rest of the group. However, if you are traveling alone, maybe you want to go with a tour just so that you can make friends and you're not spending 3, 4, 5 days, however long you spend on the Ha Giang Loop, completely alone. And honestly, if you've never ridden a bike before, I highly recommend this. The roads themselves aren't too dangerous, but the Vietnamese drivers are. I don't know if you saw it in the first video when the van came round the corner on my side of the road. And then there are actually some areas with steep drops further into the loop as well. And if you're not comfortable with riding a bike for the first time, and in fact, I really don't recommend it, you should definitely get the driver option. You can even do the Ha Giang Loop by car if you really wanted to. You could hire a driver or you can rent a car, but listen to me and take this seriously. You really shouldn't. There's just something absolutely magical with riding a bike on the Ha Giang Loop. With the wind in your hair, you have 360-degree views of all the surrounding landscapes. So I had a very quick Google on the tours, and it looks like it runs around $300 for a 2-night and 3-day tour as a passenger. And there's a very popular tour company called Ha Giang Easy Riders, which you could possibly go with. I saw them quite a lot. But what I'm gonna do is explain to you now how much it costs us for 3 days and 2 nights on the Ha Giang Loop, going independently, and then you can weigh up, is it worth paying for a tour or not? But before that, my next point in this guide is how long should you spend on the Ha Giang Loop? And honestly, it's gonna differ from person to person, so let me explain. I personally think that you need a minimum of 4 days on the Ha Giang Loop, but I think 5 days would be preferable. There is so much to see on the Ha Giang Loop, and in our 3 days, as you saw if you've watched my videos, we ended up having to skip a bunch of stuff just because we were racing daylight trying to get to the end destination for that day. Personally, if I was to go back again, I would probably plan for around 7 days, a full week on the Ha Giang Loop. I would take my time, only ride 2, 3 or 4 hours a day. And that way I'd be able to explore all of the side roads on the Ha Giang Loop as well and just see what I can find. But yeah, bare minimum, I would say 4 days and 3 nights, preferably probably go for 5 days so you got time to explore. And if you're filming a YouTube video like I was, you're gonna need 7 days or more to make sure you get all the shots that you want. So you've just come from Hanoi, you've arrived in Ha Giang, and you want to know, is it easy to find bikes in Ha Giang Village? So if you decide to come with the tour group option, maybe you've booked it through Easy Riders, maybe you've booked it through your hostel, it's highly likely that your bike is going to be included in this price, and so is your first night's accommodation in Ha Giang before you start the loop. On a side note, I didn't actually record the night that we arrived in Ha Giang, but I want to tell this story just for other people. We'd actually booked our own accommodation separately and independently in Ha Giang, and we booked our bus separately. And when we arrived at the bus station, we got in a separate taxi that was supposed to take us to our hotel, and we told him where to go. He said he knew where it was. And as he was driving around dropping other people off, he drove straight past our hotel, and we had absolutely no idea what was going on. Bearing in mind, this was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And we said, "You've missed our hotel." And he like pretended he didn't hear. And then he took us and another foreign couple to a hostel where we arrived, and the guy was like, here. And we were like, "No, this isn't where we're staying." And then some other guys came up and was like, "Oh, we have free room for you. We have free room for you." And I think what they were trying to do is trying to get us to stay in their accommodation so that then we would hire the bike from them in the morning. To be honest, the whole thing felt very scammy. The other foreign couple decided to go with them. We were like, "Nope, we've already booked and paid for our accommodation." And they were like, "Oh no, this hotel bad." And we were like, "Well, we've booked it, so we want to go." So he did end up taking us back there, but the whole ordeal took probably over an hour when the entire ride from the station to our hotel was only supposed to be like 10 minutes. And then we arrived and the hotel was actually really nice. So they were just lying to try and get us to stay there. So be aware of these scams. They kind of do happen, and it's very late, like I said, 3 a.m. and you're going to be very tired. But if you've booked a hotel, then just be adamant and say, "I want to go." Anyway, I digress. It's incredibly easy to find rental bikes in Ha Giang. There's rental places all over the place. The morning after we arrived, we ended up having breakfast at a lovely little homestay, and we asked the owner there if she rents bikes, and she was like, "Yes." And then she ordered us a taxi, which she actually paid for, and then took us to her rental company. I can't remember exactly what the rental company was called, but they charged us 180,000 dong per day for each bike. And the place that we had the food was called Me Homestay, so you can always go there yourself, order some food, and just say you're looking to rent bike. I'll leave a Google Map location for Me Homestay below. She's absolutely lovely, will definitely help you out. And it's worth noting that the bikes were really new, almost brand new, and worked great the entire time. Do you need to book all of your accommodation on the Ha Giang Loop in advance? Well, like I said, if you've booked a tour, it's likely all of this is going to be arranged for you, as well as all of your lunches, dinners, breakfast, everything is going to be booked up for you. But if you do decide to go independently like we did, then no, you do not need to book all of your night's accommodation before you go. And I would actually highly recommend against this, because the entire Ha Giang Loop is completely catered and made for this ride. So there are homestays and hotels absolutely everywhere that you can stay in, and a lot of them are empty. If you saw my first video when we arrived at our homestay, we just booked in that night and we were the only people there. There was no one around, and the prices are incredibly reasonable, and this gives you a lot more flexibility as well. So if you don't know if you're going to reach that particular destination, at least you can book something earlier the night of. Just don't stay in the resort at Meo Vac like we did on the second night in my second video. It's definitely premium prices, completely made for tourists. You could go an extra 10 minutes to Meo Vac Village and find something a hell of a lot cheaper. We found all of our accommodation the day of when we stayed, in fact the night of whenever we arrived in a place, and like I said, definitely better to do this, as you may not cover as many miles in a day as you think you might, so it gives you that flexibility. Okay, so the moment that all of you have been waiting for, how much did 3 days and 2 nights on the Ha Giang Loop going completely independently cost us per person? So altogether, drum roll please, that was 1,945,000 dong for 3 days and 2 nights on the Ha Giang Loop. Like I said, I didn't include the buses to and from Ha Giang in this price, and I didn't include our first night's hotel, but the buses were around $25 for a return, and the first night's hotel was about $8. Still, if you're unsure on whether you're going to go on a tour or whether you're going to ride independently, it seems that going independently will be at least $100 cheaper for you if you're planning to do 3 days and 2 nights. I would call that a win. Anyway, the Ha Giang Loop is something that you should not miss. I am not lying when I tell you this was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Honestly, I put the landscapes up there on par with Iceland for me. I mean, Iceland is better, but I make that comparison because it's just that stunning. And even regardless of the rain, it was still a lot of fun. Even though I might have been cold in the moment, as you saw in this video, it was still fun, but I would prepare for the weather a little bit more than I did. You're gonna need a thick coat, some gloves, and maybe some waterproofs, all things that I did not have. But anyway, I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe for more travel content. Drop a like and a comment. Let me know down below if I missed anything, and I will see you again in the next one.